Let's go through this quickly and then we get my friends up here. Verse 27 says, the lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting, but diligence is man's precious possession. Again, you see why heaven calls multi-talented people who are not focused on one talent per time, calls them lazy. Again, what did Solomon observe to come to this conclusion? It says the lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting. So Solomon judged the man as lazy, not for hunting, but for not roasting what he had caught during hunting. Think about that. Solomon called this man lazy. This man had gone hunting, but he's called a lazy man not because he went hunting, but because when he came back, he did not roast what he had caught. He did not convert what he had received in its raw state into an edible state that would add value to others, which means that you are lazy when all you have is revelation, but you haven't converted that revelation into wisdom that can be applied to yield results. Again, what did Solomon observe? This one really, I was like, this one was interesting for me because that word hunting just kept on standing out to me. I'm like, why did he use hunting here? So I'm like, what could Solomon have experienced? Like in Solomon's day, the way food was produced was mainly through farming. And when people go to the farm, is usually to plant for fruits and vegetables. But they also had herdsmen or shepherds who would rear certain animals for foods like sheep, goats, cattle, donkeys, chickens. These were domesticated animals that could be reared. A lot of you be able to, like, if you see a farm here, there are certain animals that you see on the farm. They are not wild animals. They are domesticated animals, animals that can be reared. Now you see that he's not talking about this kind of people because he says the lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting. So he's not referring to farmers. He's not referring to herdsmen. He's referring to hunters. Now, what did hunters do back in the day? Hunters would go and hunt for wild animals that could not be tamed, wild animals that could not be reared domestically. So this required a special type of skill. They would go and hunt deers, gazelles, and these were considered delicacies back then. Still is. These were like luxury food. It's not food that you can readily get. Chicken, sheep, everybody has that. This was high in demand but low in supply because very few people could hunt to find, because these were wild animals. You are going to hunt them, your life is at risk. But you can imagine those who would be able to afford these delicacies would have been nobles, the noblemen, the king's palace. And because of the shortage in supply, it means that the price of these delicacies would have been high. The average man, the poor person would not be able to say, oh, I want to eat. It is why even, was it Isaac? Isaac said, give me venison. Don't give me sheep. Don't give me goat. Give me a delicacy so that my heart can bless you. Isaac was looking for a delicacy. It's why Esau had to leave. So as a hunter was different from a herdsman. The herdsmen, the shepherds, they would live among their animals daily. It's like they were stewards. They were nurturers. They learned the animals' behavior, their needs, their success depended on routine. They would wake up early. They would lead the animals to pasture, find water for them, inspect their bodies for wounds, protect them. They understood their mating cycle so that they could reproduce. But for the hunter, it was a different skill set. The hunter had to go into the wild to hunt for animals that could potentially kill him. And because you can imagine you're going into the forest, you're not sure where these animals are. They had to develop the skill of pattern recognition. They had to learn how to read footprints, they'll see animal dung and it will tell them how far away the animal may have been because, oh, this dung is fresh. They had to observe the wind's direction to say if the wind is going towards here, then the animals are probably heading towards this direction. It took a different skill set. They had to operate in stealth mode. They couldn't frighten the animal. The animals could not see them coming. They also had to be proficient with their weapons. They had to be accurate because they didn't have guns back in the day. Finding the animal was one thing. Having multiple opportunities to capture that animal was rare. If you saw the animal and the animal could not see you, you had one chance. You had to be accurate and disciplined. So when I read this, I'm like, Solomon, these are not the type of men you called lazy. For you to go hunting and actually bring something back, it has taken a level of skill. It has taken a level of discipline, a level of concentration. It has taken a level of diligence to catch the animal. Why did Solomon call him lazy? What did he see? He must have noticed that some hunters, after catching their prey, the delicacy would spoil and have to be thrown away. And guess what? They couldn't be paid for it. It's like you wasted your effort. All that diligence that you started with, you did not finish. You wasted all that effort. So Solomon called them lazy because they did not finish what they started. They were great at starting, but poor at stewarding. The prey, once you catch the prey, you have a few hours to prepare it so that it doesn't spoil. They didn't have refrigerators back then exactly. So it means they came back, maybe they said, you know what, let me just go and sleep and I'll come back. And by the time they would wake up, what they had caught would have gone bad. Maybe some just like chasing new animals. When they catch one, they put it down, let me go catch another one. And by the time they'll be like, oh, I saw another one, let me go catch it. By the time they get there, time is gone. But by the time they come back, that animal is gone. They couldn't profit from the pursuit. And so the question that the Holy Spirit asked me that I want to ask you guys, in your pursuit of God, what is it profiting you? We can receive revelations. How are we stewarding those revelations for application, for results? Because it is not what you catch that changes your life. It is what you cook. The revelation that you catch is not what will change your life. It is how you cook the revelation to produce application in your life that changes your life. It means that you can be actively busy, but still be lazy. The proof of diligence isn't in starting, but in finishing. That's deliverance for someone right here, man. If you look at your life, and I'm sure a lot of us will be able to relate to this, you see a lot of abandoned projects. Things that you started, but never finished. Things that you were excited to start. And when you remember, you were so excited, but you never finished because you got distracted. So when it says, but diligence is man's precious possession, it means that you need to protect diligence at all cost. Treat it like treasure. A lot of people have a problem saying no. No helps protect your yes. Every successful person is good at saying no because they're trying to protect what they've said yes to. When you say yes to everything, it means you don't have boundaries. People will use you. They will take your diligence and distract you from it. This is why so many believers are struggling financially. This has delivered me personally because I'm not supposed to be thinking of money at this stage. We struggle financially. We go to church religiously, pray, fast, and we receive ideas and revelations. It's like we're hunting and we're catching, but we ignore the other part of roasting what we've caught. We've ignored the other part of refining the idea to develop it until it produces fruit that can now be exchanged for value. Same with relationships and marriage. Have you noticed how, and I'll speak to the men. Men are good hunters. A lot of men are good with hunting until they catch you, but they're unable to roast you. This is why marriages and relationships end up breaking up, because you thought the end of the road was in catching the person. You didn't realize that there's also the next step of stewarding what you've caught. You think the end is to catch the woman and get her to say, yes, I will marry you. You don't realize that that is just step one. You also need to steward her into becoming a wife. Steward your marriage so that you don't end up destroying it. This has many applications. Think of your own life. What is it that you are catching, but you are not roasting? Thanks so much for watching. But before you go, let me leave you with this. Most Christians struggle today not because they don't know what to do. I mean, you just heard a message right now that has opened your eyes and is sparking new ideas in your heart. You know what you've heard is true, but the reality is that a lot of people will still struggle to see results because the goal is not to know what to do. The goal is to do what you now know. So if you currently feel like God has given you an idea, a calling, or a vision, but you still feel stuck, you're not sure what to do next, or maybe the vision just feels too big that is making you feel overwhelmed, it's not because your vision isn't real, it's because your plan hasn't become clear. In Habakkuk chapter 2, God told the prophet to write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. Did you see that? Your ability to run with the vision is dependent on the clarity you receive from the vision. The vision needs to become plain before anyone will take action. And that's why I created a free masterclass called From Revelation to Revenue, because I want to help you break down what God showed you into simple, actionable steps that will give you the confidence that you need to finally run with it. I'll be showing you a few biblical frameworks that will help you see the vision God gave you, articulate it with clarity, and communicate it in a way that inspires others to support it so you can begin earning from it faithfully and with integrity. And so if you've been praying for direction, if you've been waiting for a sign, if you feel like, man, God, I've been praying that this vision you gave me, like, what's next? I believe this is it. Click the link in the description so you can get instant access to the masterclass. It's absolutely free of charge. So you can start turning what God showed you into something the world would be willing to pay for. I'll see you inside. Take care. Bye-bye.